The fired Metro Police officer Brett Hankison, the first officer fired in the aftermath of the Breonna Taylor case, now wants his wanton endangerment trial moved out of Louisville. Remember, he's not facing charges in the death of Taylor, but for the random shots he fired into the apartment surrounding hers. Kristen Goodwillie has more from a legal expert about the possible change of venue.
Brett Hankison faces wanton endangerment charges for his actions in the Breonna Taylor case. The charges were brought about after an investigation revealed he fired bullets into a neighboring apartment. Now his attorneys say the trial should not take place in Jefferson County.
The problem with the motion is the motion solely and heavily relies on pretrial publicity.
Former Jefferson County prosecutor attorney Carl Price says pretrial publicity isn't enough to get a change in venue.
You have to make the connection between that extraordinary publicity and the prejudice to the defendant when the trial is held.
In the request filed February 2nd, Hankison's attorneys claim a media circus surrounds the case, going on to say that the bias and prejudice of the media has been generated against Hankison in Jefferson County.
That doesn't mean that we can't sit as a juror and put all of that information, set all that information aside, which law requires, and determine the defendant's innocence or guilt based upon the evidence that's presented.
Price says proving that will be hard considering the motion was filed so early on. The motion uses local newspaper articles, social media posts, and the billboards put up by Oprah as evidence.
In a lot of these cases that have been decided by the appellate courts on change of venue, they have been change of venue motions that have been denied, and then the court has the opportunity to evaluate whether, for instance, pretrial publicity was enough to change the venue, or whether the change of venue motion should have been granted. So it's a lot of times it's on the back end.
He says if the change in venue was granted, the lawyers, prosecutors, and judge would all go to the county that's holding the trial. Getting a change in venue isn't common.
It is not something that happens in regularly in your run-of-the-mill criminal case.
Does a change in venue affect the outcome normally of a case?
In this climate, I think it could. I really do believe it could.
This is the first step in the process. With the change of venue request, there has to be 2 affidavits from people who aren't family or involved in the case. Attorneys filed 4 affidavits. Of them, 3 of the people have the same last name. The hearing is scheduled for March 25th. I'm Kristen Goodwillie, WHAS 11 News.